Hello everyone. I'm going to talk to you about a literature review. You can see that I have EBSCOhost pulled up. So we're in the database thing. So starting off on a lit review, what do I need? Well, I need a topic. So I'm just going to do it here. I got my notepad. I'm going to rip this page off here and I'm going to give myself a topic. I'm going to write down team member cohesion and team performance. So there it is. Team member cohesion and team performance. Why would he even write that down? Well, going across on this literature review, when we start talking about doing studies or research, usually you have, and some people explain this as you have two streams of literature. In my case, I have team member cohesion and team performance. So I'm working with two things. So if I start asking about why would you might say why are you talking about this? Well, right now my mind's going. I could easily make a question here. Does team member cohesion result in increased team performance? Boom, I have a research question to work with. You're going to find through with me, I do like to talk about team member cohesion. I like to talk about team performance. This kind of area of my interest is really, I have a highly interest in teams and leadership. So I kind of go down that path. So I'm not going to put it in both of them, but if I wanted to do a literature review for this topic, I'm gonna obviously I want full text. I don't want to go searching for articles right now. We might at a later date. I want peer reviewed. I'm just gonna leave all over here and I'm just gonna type in the first one, team member, and it should populate. Maybe. All right, there it is. Okay, so when I'm building a literature review, I essentially need to speak to team member cohesion, and I'm also looking at team performance. So to do this correctly in my mind, I have to have an outline. So I need to talk about both of these pieces and kind of why they're important and how they come together and not intersect, but basically go like this and create a gap. So is there a gap in this article? I don't know yet. And that's the hard part. And that's where literature review comes in. So just by searching team member cohesion, I have what have I got here? Well, I'm actually a little surprised here that I only have 13 articles showing up and a lot of it's saying group cohesion. So we might be better off doing group cohesion. So let's back up and try that. Because groups and team are different. Well, look at this. Group cohesion and performance. Well, I can't read that. So here we're seeing something. Effectiveness of gamification on group cohesion attitude, group cohesion motivational change, climate. What am I getting for articles? 166, a lot better. EBSCO did not like the words team. So if I'm going through this, I would probably discuss a little bit what teams are. So now I'm adding another element. Now I have to discuss about teams. So not trying to get you lost in this. Let's say I'm gonna just keep this simple. I want to do a literature review simply on the topic of group cohesion. Let's go there instead. Wow, bam, we get 2,279 articles in theory on group cohesion. So if I'm going to do a literature review on group cohesion, what do I want to do? I basically want to tell my reader what group cohesion is, why is it important, and in the case of if I add group performance, how does it kind of connect or intersect with group cohesion? So at this point, I want you to kind of think of a literature review as the gathering of a given a certain number of articles. So let's say certain. How do I discuss certain? So it's basically exhausting it. And if we're really going to go into team member or group cohesion, wow, you're going to say I got to review almost 2,300 articles. No, what you're going to find as you go through these articles, you're going to find that group cohesion is described in really the same manner. So when I look at group cohesion, I want to look at what are all these people saying. I mean, I don't know, this one stands out for me. Transformational leadership, probably because again, I like leadership. Group potency and small, that's interesting. Group potency, whatever that means. The mediating role of group identification and cohesion. That's very interesting to me because, okay, this is a good article for this argument. The first stream of literature, transformational leadership and group potency in small military units. So this is basically one section of their lit review, the mediating role of group identification and cohesion. So breaking this down, we are talking about two basically things here. So let's jump into that one. So here's why you're starting to get that stream, right? I have transformational leadership. I'm saying it's linked already with group potency and small military units. I'm being very specific here, but still a lot of information. I'm also saying that there's a mediating role of group identification and cohesion. If I bust this down without getting too far, we got two variables here. We also have two variables here. So let's stop before I get ahead of myself. Let's jump into this article. So if I look at it, here's our abstract. Okay, and here's where you get a good idea of the group or literature review, if you will. Okay, we're talking about transformational leadership. We're talking about group potency in the beginning here. All right. So we look at here, we should, in theory, okay, group identification, group cohesion's right there. There it is. Transformational leadership is spoken to, and group potency is spoken to. So you're not seeing a huge let's just take group potency because I really don't know what they're telling us what it is. So what is it? The collective belief in a group that it can be effective. Interesting. Okay, so that to me really brings us forth why cohesion or what group identification could be a mitigating variable. But anyhow, to bring us back forth, if I look at a literature review, say and it's not highlighting how I want, say if I'm just interested in group potency, look at all that has been written basically just on the topic of group potency. These authors are telling us what it is, as noted by Gusto or Yoast. It's also telling you kind of how it's used in different constructs. It's talking you about previous studies, how they talked about group potency. So what this is, and if you look at this as a literature review, is basically a kind of an exhausting of what group potency is, the definition of it, how it's used in literature, how it's important, how it's been examined. So we are basically exhausting that topic. So think of that literature review as I'm talking to this topic, I'm bringing a bunch of articles, I'm bringing forth the research, I'm saying how did this group potency look in this big picture? That's what I'm trying to do. I'm defining it. I'm also kind of concluding what it's all about. So that is basically on the surface what a lit review is. I'm taking a specific topic. In the case of a dissertation or even a journal article, I'm taking multiple topics. Um, so be careful when you're doing this. I wouldn't go into too many topics. I mean, the lit review is going to be fairly short. Um, Pick maybe one, maybe two topics like this one, group potency or group cohesion, and you're basically examining it, telling a story of what it is. As you get into more heavily lit reviews, you're guiding your reader down a path here. As they did in this article, you see that we have multiple elements here: transformational leadership and group potency. You'll notice that they do have transformational leadership as first. So the question will become, how do these link? So hypothesis one might help us a little bit. Transformational leadership style with squad leaders will be directly and positively related to group potency in squads. Wow. Okay. So they are saying here that transformational leadership is the independent variable and potency is result. Okay. Um, Again, getting a little ahead of ourselves, but we need to paint this picture. So think of this as a literature review is basically painting the picture of a certain subject. So when I'm diving into this, I'm collecting a bunch of articles and I'm trying to interweave the articles to basically paint a picture of what a literature review is. So I'm going to bounce out. I'm just going to leave this up and give you a little disclaimer. I want you to approach this literature review for bus 810 in this way. Find a topic, or and it could be anything: group cohesion, group potency, turnover. Again, I kind of get stuck in groups and literature and teams or leadership. So that's kind of where my interest lies. Um, so here we go. Step one, find a topic. Step two, go to the databases and start gathering some articles on this. Maybe you find 10 on group potency. Review these articles, and that's kind of what you did in your annotated bib too. Review these articles. How are they a fit? Then you basically weave them together to tell us a story. This is what group potency is. This is what it's all about. This is why it's important, and this is why it should be studied. So I know this is going to be a little challenging at first, and again, that's okay. So I'm looking for put your best foot forward in this. It's kind of like learning to ride a bicycle. Don't be scared if you slip and fall here a little bit. What I'm looking for far is moving you forward. Are you thinking through this? And as your instructor too, I'm also looking for, where are you struggling with this? Some of you, this might come easier. Some of you might be harder, right? So that should kind of give you an overview, a lit review. Also, I'd recommend going to our book, The Dissertation Warrior. What does Guy say about him? Furthermore, what happens if we simply go out to Google and I don't want you stuck in Google, but if you want to know basic stuff, what is it about? Okay, Google and Google don't help, but what happens if I type in literature review? Okay, there's a bunch of population here, literature review health. So what is it? They're saying a survey of scholarly sources that provide an overview of a particular topic. I don't think we can get much simpler than that. So basically, a collection of articles that provide an overview of a specific topic. So let's break down. We have several articles that speak to what? A specific topic. It provides an overview of what is this thing. So try not to complicate this too much. Don't get too hung up on doing a ton of search. You're going to see everybody has a different opinion. This person's talking about 3 parts. This person's talking about 4 stages. At this point, just think of it as a kind of a summary or an overview of articles on a specific topic. At this point in the game, you're perfectly fine if you approach it that way. I just kind of wanted to give you an idea of how to look at this at this point. My best advice, pick the topic, go to the articles, try to start bringing them together to weave a basically summary. Um, don't don't ex don't look for perfection. You're basically trying to tell a story in a literature review. For my salespeople, you're also kind of in a way trying to uh, create a sales pitch of why this topic's important. I think we'll discuss this more, but this should kind of give you an idea, and this kind of wraps up my thoughts on lit review. I'm already at 15 minutes, but we will talk about this more as we progress through the program.